Hello, everyone. Welcome again to our new episode of Discovering Digital Creators. Today we will be discussing with Shavonne Wong. Shavonne is a fashion photographer, digital artist, and she has been featured in Forbes Under 30. So thank you very much for being here with us, Shavonne. So I would love to discover more about your work, your creative process, and how do you see the future of NFTs. So my first question to you is how did you get into digital art?
Okay, so I have been a photographer for about 10 years now. Like, I've been doing fashion and advertising photography here in Singapore. I've got to work with some pretty cool clients. Like, I've shot Billy Porter for Vogue, I've shot for Sephora, Lancome. So like it's been a very exciting 10 years. But like it's always been photography, right? I've never really done digital art. But when COVID first happened and photo shoots were no longer allowed in Singapore, like basically we were in a lockdown, right? So no photo shoots allowed. Um, I was like, shit, I can't shoot my models. That's bad. And I was like, if I can't photograph models, I guess I'll just make my own. And that was my thought process. And so like I decided to learn 3D, and I spent the whole year of 2020 just learning 3D, like learning from all the YouTube tutorials, all the online tutorials, learning all the different softwares, and creating my virtual models. And at first, it was for me to bring it to commercial clients, right? To tell them like, okay, I got this virtual models that I would like you guys to use for your campaigns if you guys are interested. And it's always been very interesting, and like people have responded very well to it. But like the difficulties that a lot of people who are very used to hiring traditional the photography way, the traditional photo shoot, the traditional models, they find it very hard to understand how it is done. So like how on a photo shoot, if you want to put a earring on a model, you just put it on. But like in 3D, everything has to be manually created. So like there were a lot of things that like with the back and forth that the client has problem trying to understand. So like it's still happening, but like and it's still ongoing, but it's a process that's a bit iffy. And earlier this year when my husband told me about NFTs, I was like, okay, this could be very interesting, and I feel like my virtual models could fit in there perfectly, right? So I decided to give it a shot. Like I created some artworks with my 3D models, and then I minted them as NFTs. So that's, I guess, my way into digital art. I guess like yeah, it's very interesting because like I've always worked for clients for photography. Like it's never been personal work. But right now with these models, I've never been in the art world, right? So now I'm doing art,
Yes.
and yeah, I guess that's how I got in.
That's awesome. So you pass from photography into digital art and digital model creation.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Well, that's very interesting. And what is the inspiration behind all the models that you create? Because yeah, like there are kind of like different types of people, different like uh different
Yeah, yeah,
faces.
yeah.
What is the
So,
idea?
so like in the 10 years I've done fashion photography, right? I've got to work with a lot of different kind of models, like different different kind of from different ethnicities, different races, like different features. And obviously like I think like if you ask me right now what's the kind of face I like, it's a bit hard for me to give you the exact terms, but I think subconsciously there are just certain faces that I'm always drawn towards. Like if I go to a different country and I go to a different model agency and ask them for their com cards where I want to see all the models they have, the kind of models I'm drawn to are they generally have the same vibe. So like when I decided to create virtual models, my assumption is that like the subconscious of the kind of faces I'm already drawn to are the features that I create onto my models. Because I mean, I want to create artwork with them, right? So I want to create artwork with the models that I would whose faces I like in general. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's where it comes from. And like I think for me in particular, I wanted to make sure that there was a bit of diversity in my models. So I wanted to make sure there was a range of like different races, ethnicity with them. In the future, I will also have like more sizes and stuff like body shapes, body sizes. So I mean, like they're all virtual, so there's a lot of potential on what I can do with them. It's just I think the biggest inspiration is just the kind of faces I'm already drawn to when in my photography career.
And are they inspired by real people? Like for example, Lil Michaela, like is also a virtual model who has become really
Yeah,
famous.
yeah.
So yeah, do you have like inspiration of like a certain model or someone in particular?
So like I think when I created these virtual models, I actually wanted to make sure that it wasn't like an exact version of anybody because I wanted these virtual models to be my own. The thing about shooting, like even in photography, the reason why I haven't minted any of my photography stuff is that with those models, especially models with agencies, you cannot just use the images for non-commercial usages, right? So for commercial usages, so like I cannot make money off the personal shoots I've done with those models, and if it's for commercial already, like there's a client involved, I can't just take those images and mint it. So the whole idea of that was like when I created my virtual models was like I wanted to be able to use these virtual models in any way I wanted to without having to worry about rights or like whose face belongs to who, that sort of thing. So I made sure that these were all faces that didn't really belong to anybody. It was a kind of a mixed mash of like a lot of faces that I enjoy. I enjoy looking at, and yeah. So that's where they came from.
And is there any particular model from your portfolio that you really like and you feel proud of, that you created this kind of like persona, this kind of model?
I mean, I'm proud of all of them. I think they're all very cool. Yeah, like right now I have four models. I really like all of them, so which I think is important because like it makes sure that I have the same amount of effort and energy in all of them to make sure they're of the same standard. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with all of them.
And do you want to create one of them like more like as a persona, like Lil Michaela, and give them a personality, give them a, like for example, a Twitter
No,
account? Or
I'm not as drawn towards the very influencer style of virtual models. I find that it can be a bit disingenuous sometimes because like
mm,
these virtual models will have a persona right on Twitter and then they'll say certain things, but those opinions are not of the virtual models, it's the opinion of the creator, right? So like and like
yes.
people are very easily influenced, like especially in 2020, you could see that people are just they're influenced by everything. And I find that it can become a bit disingenuous, a bit dangerous when like there are all these virtual models out there where the creator's not even very clearly stated and they're saying these things where you're not you don't even know who's actually saying it, but like people are like, oh, I like this virtual model, she's saying I think it's correct, but like who's actually saying it?
Mhm.
You have no idea. So personally I don't think I would really go down the influencer route, like maybe for a client, but like you see if I do it for a client, like for a brand, everything that that virtual model says, like the consequences belong to the brand. So like there is a consequence to it, right? Like yeah. So for me, as long as it's accountable, I think it's okay. But like if the creator is hard to find, like there are no consequences to this virtual model saying anything, then I find it a bit iffy.
Yeah, I understand. I have seen that there are some virtual models, virtual influencers, that they are even creating their own NFTs, their own art as a digital
Yeah,
persona,
yeah, yeah.
which is an interesting concept. Is pushing it to the very extreme, and seeing what can come out of
Yeah,
it.
definitely. I mean, like it is 2021, so like the technology is pushing the boundaries of it, right? But like, yeah, I guess there's some things that like I am more drawn to, more comfortable with, and some things that I think naturally that I'm just like I'm not as comfortable with, so I would probably wouldn't go that
Mhm.
direction.
And how do you see the future of your art practice going?
I mean, like I will probably continue creating more models. I'll probably continue creating artwork with these models. I think with the way technology is always exponentially increasingly improving, I think there'll be a lot of different ways I can work with them, like maybe in a 360 style, in a VR style, in a I don't know, like I'm just excited to see where technology brings us and how I can evolve my art along with it.
And do you plan to collaborate with other artists or create digital creators in general?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, right as of now, I'm not collaborating with anybody yet. But I think like if there's somebody whose style that I admire and the person like vice versa like likes my work, like and we could come up with something that's not just for the sake of collaboration, but like there's a reason why we do it. I think I'll be open to it. So yeah, I'm definitely not closed off to the idea of collaboration. I think that's one of the very cool thing about this space. Yeah, it's just whether the is it for the sake of collaborating or is there because like there's really something we could really do well together.
Yeah, sorry. And do you have any artistic movement or like artists from the traditional art world, like from art history, that you really like and you think it influences also the way you create photography and the way that you create your models?
Oh, I mean, like, I guess the thing was like before NFTs, I wasn't really an artist. I was more just like a photographer. So like I know my photography influences, but like if you talk about art, I'm really very new to the art scene, right? So like, I mean, I know the big ones like Michelangelo, but like, I don't think my art is very influenced by him either. I think it's just my art is very influenced by my photography, and my photography are influenced by like the photographers that I love. So yeah.
But it is like any particular like photography movement that you like, that is something that is interesting to check out,
Like movement or artists,
like
like photographer.
in photography, for example.
Like for photographers that I like, there's this photographer that's called Tim Walker. Like he creates stuff that's very fantastical, and I've always wanted to do stuff like his, but his has a lot of budget involved, so I don't, so I could like never do the stuff like he does. There's another photographer that I really love called Bruno Dayan, also very fantastical stuff. Yeah, it's like there's also a lot more that I can't think of right now, right this
Mm.
instant, but like yeah, and I think it's cool because right now, when I do my 3D artwork, I don't have to worry about the budget of sets. You know, like in the real world, I have to create sets, and it's like, do you have the budget for it? Does the client have the budget for it? And then and if not, you can't do it. But like with 3D, I can make my models float around. I can create sets as big as I want. Uh, yeah, so maybe the influences from like photographer like Bruno Day and like maybe his influences will come a bit clearer now because like I can do stuff that I was not able to do previously.
Oh, that's really nice. Like, yeah, you mentioned Tim Walker. I think I visited one of his exhibitions at the V&A like 2 years ago. And yeah, like his photography is very polished, very the scenes are very like lightful, and it's like mostly fashion photography. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I enjoy that.
yeah. But his work has a lot of budget involved. Like I was reading one of the books, and one of the books was like, "Oh, we just gonna get a Rolls Royce in the as a car in the shot, just like that." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah, it's very different when you have money.
But yeah, with 3D you can experiment a lot of things and try different things for
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and do you have any recommendations for people who want to get into the NFT space? For example, people who want to experiment with digital fashion or digital art, um, 3D models.
Oh, I think my advice is to just do it. Like you can think about it all you want, but like unless you start, you never know how much you like it. You never know how good you are. You never know which is whether if this is something you even like. Like yeah, I'm a big advocate for just giving it a shot, especially like with all the softwares nowadays, like Blender being free, with so many YouTube tutorials out there. There's no real reason why you shouldn't just start if you're interested. So there's that. Yeah, to just do it.
Well, that's good. And any particular challenge that digital creators should be aware of, maybe regarding building communities or regarding like technological limitations in terms of NFTs?
Well, I mean, like, I'll start with the communities. I mean, it's the same outside, right? Like, if you don't talk to people, they don't know who you are. And if they don't know who you are, no matter how great your art is, nobody can buy it. and everybody wants to be that spotlight artist, right? They want to be the artist who never does any marketing, just concentrates on their art, creates beautiful work, and then one day somebody walks by, takes a photo, and then they become a superstar. But like the chances of that happening is so low. It's like one in like million like artists that really gets that shot. And every artist wants to be that, but like you cannot bank your career, your life, your NFT life, or your future on the hope, because you might as well just apply for lottery, right? So for me, it's just you can hope for that, but like please work in the meantime. Like go and network, go and talk to people, go be sociable on Discord, on Twitter. Like people are willing to share the work of people they know, right? Like
Yes.
I am willing to retweet a friend. I am willing to comment on a friend's work. Unless like obviously, if I see really beautiful work, I would comment, I would retweet. But like if somebody posts something and I know this person, I am more inclined to retweet it because like there's a relationship already compared to just a total stranger. So like you cannot expect people to you cannot complain that people aren't retweeting you if you're not trying to build relationships at all. So like the whole idea is just really to be out there in the community, talk to people, be friendly. Yeah, just don't overthink it, because people love like, how do I say hi? Should I say hi? Should I say hello? Should I say howdy? Like which hi should I say? Like people don't care. Just don't overthink it. Be yourself and just talk to people. Yeah, so that.
So a fundamental pillar of getting on track on your NFT career is to build your community, engage with people, be present in different events, and like share your work, and then
Yeah, exactly.
that's great. Thank you very much for the interview, and thank you very much for being with us and sharing your insights around the NFT community and your models, which are really nice. When I saw your work, I was really interested into it, because I'm interested also in very much in fashion, and I saw that kind of like influence also from there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I appreciate the attention you've given me also. Like it's nice, it's flattering. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And if we want to follow you on Twitter, so would you mind just giving your Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter name is at Shavonne Wong _. It's SHAVONNEWONG _.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Shavonne. And
Thank you, thank
thank you for
you.
listening. Thank you so much for listening. And please don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter at Snifty, or visit our website snifty.com to know more about what we are building, a social network based around NFTs for digital artists, collectors, and curators.